You know what's beautiful about MMOs? The community, the friendships, the late night raids where you're half asleep but still pulling aggro because someone's got to tank this thing. And you know what's also beautiful? Watching it all burn down in a spectacular rage quit that makes everyone question why they're still subscribed. Welcome to MMO Madness Behind the Troll Mask. I'm your host, Boss Mode, and today we're talking about one of the most iconic, devastating, and sometimes absolutely justified moves in online gaming history, the rage quit. Not just any rage quit, though. We're talking about the ones that cross the lines, the ones where trolling stops being funny and starts being, well, a war crime against good vibes. Because here's the thing. Every MMO player has rage quit at least once. Maybe you DC'd during a boss fight and came back to repair bill that made you question life choices. Maybe your guild leader ninja looted that mount you've been farming for 6 months. Maybe someone in PvP whispered you something so toxic it made you want to uninstall the internet. But when it comes to a rage quit, go from a personal moment of I'm done to the full-blown spectacle that takes down half the server with you. That's what we're diving into today. So buckle up. This one's gonna hurt. So let's start with the basics. What is rage quit? It's not just logging off. That's quitting. A rage quit is an event. It's theater. It's the digital equivalent of flipping the table, throwing your controller, and storming out of the room while everyone watches in stunned silence. In MMO, it's even better because you have an audience, and that audience, they're going to remember it forever. I've seen rage quits that became server legends, stories passed down through guild recruitment messages like folklore. Yeah, we don't talk about Steve. Steve rage quit during Naximus and deleted the entire guild bank. That's the power of a rage quit. It's not just about you leaving. It's about the crater you leave behind. Back in World of Warcraft, Wrath of the Lich King, I was in a guild called Definitely Not Wiping. Spoiler, we wiped a lot. Our main tank, guy named Ironwall, was a legend, never complained, always showed up, and took his hits like a champ. Until one night, we were progressing on Heroic Lich King, and after our 15th wipe, someone in voice chat made a joke. Something like, "Hey Ironwall, you know you can move out of the defile, right?" Innocent enough, right? Wrong. Dead silence on comms, then Ironwall just types in raid chat. "I've tanked you idiots for 2 years. 2 years, and you think I don't know what defile does? I'm out." Then he logged off. But it didn't stop there. He transferred servers, deleted his characters, left the guild Discord, blocked everyone on BattleNet, gone like a ghost. We found out later that someone had been making passive-aggressive comments about his gameplay for months, and that one joke was just the breaking point. That's the thing about rage quits. They're never really about the one moment. They're about all the little cuts that came before it. And here's where it gets messy, because Ironwall, he had every right to leave. He was getting worn down by toxic comments disguised as banter. But the way he left, that hurt the whole guild. We couldn't progress for weeks. People blamed each other. Some quit too. One person's rage quit became everyone's problem. That's the double-edged sword. Sometimes the rage quit is justified. Sometimes it's necessary. But it always leaves collateral damage. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the chat box, trolls. Because let's be real, most rage quits don't happen in a vacuum. Someone pushed that person to the edge, and in MMOs, trolls are Olympic level button pushers. They know exactly what they're doing. They're not just playing the game, they're playing you. In Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood era, there was a free company. Let's call them the Eternal Grind. They ran weekly mount farms, and one of their officers, a guy named Kazuto, decided he was tired of losing roles. So he changed the loot rules without telling anyone. They cleared the trial, mounts dropped, everyone hype, and Kazuto just takes it. No roll, no discussion, just yoinks it and logs off. The FC lost their minds. But here's where it gets spicy. Kazuto comes back an hour later and posts a 2,000-word essay in the FC Discord about how the loot system was rigged anyway. And if you guys actually respected his time, he wouldn't have to do this. Classic troll move. Gaslight. He was justified and act like the victim. The FC leader tried to mediate, but Kazuto just kept doubling down. Eventually, half the FC rage quit in solidarity with the people he screwed over. The free company disbanded within a week. One troll, one mount, entire community destroyed. That's the power of a troll-induced rage quit. It's not just one person leaving, it's the ripple effect, the trust that gets shattered, the friendships that get fractured. Because once someone crosses that line, once they show they don't respect the community, everything else falls apart. And the worst part, the troll usually doesn't care. They got their loot, they got their laughs, they move on to the next server, and the next guild, the next group of people to mess with. But the people left behind, they're stuck picking up the pieces. Let me tell you about a streamer I used to watch, goes by Riftwalker, plays Elder Scrolls Online. A good player, entertaining, built a solid community. Then one day he's running around in Cyrodiil, and this group of trolls start stream sniping him. For those who don't know, stream sniping is when people watch your stream to figure out where you are and hunt you down. These guys weren't just killing him, they were harassing him, teabagging after every kill, whispering him toxic messages, posting clips of his death with mocking captions. He tried to laugh it off at first. It's just PvP, he said. But after 2 weeks of this, something snapped. Midstream, he just stops, looks at the camera, says, "I don't know why I'm doing this anymore," and logs off. He didn't stream for 3 months. When he came back, he admitted he almost quit the gaming entirely. Said the trolls made him feel like he was back in high school getting bullied, and he didn't sign up for that. That's when trolling crosses the line, when it stops being about the game and starts being about breaking someone down as a person. And look, I get it. PvP is competitive. Trash talk is a part of the culture, but there's a difference between get good and I'm going to dedicate my free time to making your life miserable. One's banter, the other is harassment. And when someone rage quits because of that, that's not on them. That's on the people who pushed them there. So why do we rage quit? What is it about MMOs that makes us snap harder than any other type of game? I think it's because MMOs aren't just games, they're social ecosystems. They're second lives. And when someone violates the trust in that ecosystem, it feels personal. You don't rage quit a single player game and take 50 people down with you, but in an MMO, your rage quit echoes. I knew a guild leader in World of Warcraft named Seraphine. She ran one of the most organized, drama-free guilds I've ever seen. Rage schedules on point, loot council fair, everyone respected her. Behind the scenes, she was burned out. She was managing 100+ people, mediating disputes, organizing events, and still trying to maintain her own enjoyment of the game. Then one night, two of her officers got into a fight over a raid comp, started arguing in voice chat, publicly, in front of everyone. She tried to shut it down, but they kept going. Finally, she just said, "You know what? I'm done. You guys figure it out," and logged off. The next day, she posted in Discord, "I've been your unpaid therapist, event coordinator, and referee for 2 years. I'm not doing it anymore. Guild's yours. Good luck." And then she left the Discord and never logged back in. The guild fell apart in 48 hours. That's the thing people don't talk about. Rage quits aren't always about anger. Sometimes they're about exhaustion, about hitting your limit and realizing you've been giving more than you're getting. And in MMOs where leadership is unpaid labor and community management is a full-time job, burnout rage quits are way more common than people think. Seraphine wasn't wrong to leave. She was protecting herself. But the way it happened, the sudden exit, the lack of transition, that still hurt people who depended on her. That's the tragedy of a rage quit. Even when it's justified, it still leaves scars. Here's the question that keeps me up at night. Is there ever a good way to rage quit? Because on one hand, yeah, sometimes you gotta protect your peace. If a community is toxic, if people are harassing you, if the game is making you miserable, you have every right to walk away. But on the other hand, the way you leave matters. You can exit with grace, or you can exit with a flamethrower. And in MMOs, people remember the flamethrower. I want to end on a positive note because not all exits are disasters. There was a healer in Final Fantasy XIV, a character named Lumina. She'd been in the same free company for years, beloved by everyone. One day she posted in Discord, "Hey everyone, I've been thinking about this for a while, but I need to step away from Final. Work's been crazy, and I don't just have the energy to raid anymore. I'm not leaving because of drama or anything. I just need a break. Thank you all for the memories. You made this game special to me. No rage, no spectacle, just honesty." And you know what happened? The FC threw her a farewell party. They ran her favorite content one last time, took screenshots, shared stories. She left on good terms, and even though she doesn't play anymore, she still checks in on the Discord sometimes. That's how you do it. Because here's the truth. You don't owe anyone your time. You don't owe anyone your energy. If a game isn't fun anymore, if a community is draining you, and you have every right to leave. But if you care about the people you're leaving behind, if you want to preserve those relationships, a little communication goes a long way. You don't have to explain everything. You don't have to justify yourself. But a simple, "Hey, I'm out. Thanks for the memories," can be a difference between a rage quit and a respectful exit. So what have we learned today? That rage quits are inevitable. That trolls will always push people to their limits. And that sometimes the most powerful thing that you can do in an MMO is walk away before you burn it all down. Because at the end of the day, MMOs are supposed to be fun. They're supposed to be communities where we escape the chaos of real life, not add to it. And if someone is making that impossible for you, whether it's a troll, a toxic guild, or just the weight of responsibility, you don't have to stay. But if you decide to leave, think about how you want to be remembered. As that person who rage quit and nuked the guild Discord? Or the person who left with dignity, even when things get hard? The choice is yours. I'm Boss Mode, and this has been MMO Madness Behind the Troll Mask. Stay sharp out there. And remember, logging off is always an option, but how you log off, well, that's what they'll talk about for years. And now, a word from our sponsor.
Subscribe now to MMO Madness, Behind the Troll Mask, sponsored by Boss Mode Fashion, because even if your DPS is trash, your outfit doesn't have to be. Find your next respawn-ready outfit at bossmodefashion.com.
Got a rage quit story that still haunts you, or maybe a graceful exit that saved your sanity? Email me at podcast@mmomadness.com. Your story might make it into a future episode. And until next time, remember, it's just a game, but the friendship, those are real. Even when they end badly. Laugh, respawn, repeat, boss mode out. And hey, don't forget to like, share, and support our podcasts.